Howdy, hey, how is everybody doing, and welcome back to Disney Daily. After watching Disney's Encanto, I am left with many questions, but in today's video, I am going to focus on Mirabel, but more specifically on Mirabel's fate and what is to become of her. Now, as a quick recap, let's go over Mirabel's journey throughout the course of the film to get a better understanding of the end. In the beginning of the film, we learn that the whole Madrigal family has a gift because of a miracle. That miracle happened once a very special candle was lit. Isabela developed the ability to make plants and flowers grow. Luisa has super strength. Pepa can control the weather. Juiletta can heal others through her cooking. Bruno has the ability to see into the future. Camilo can shapeshift. Dolores has supersonic hearing, and Antonio, the youngest of the Madrigals, can speak to animals. Every cousin has a gift except for Mirabel, but it wasn't always supposed to be that way. We learn that each Madrigal child, when they come of age, is supposed to touch a special door that forms inside the casita, and once they touch that door, their powers are revealed. Unfortunately, on the day of Mirabel's ceremony, when she went to touch the doorknob, nothing happened. In fact, the door began to disappear and no power was given to her. Ever since that day, Mirabel has felt like the odd one out and becomes a problem in her abuela Alma's eyes. Mirabel's abuela is not just the head of the household, but the entire town's matriarch. What's probably the most interesting to me is that abuela doesn't actually have a power herself, which will tie into part of my theory a little bit later. She is, however, the one who founded the miracle. That miracle taking the form of a candle, and once that candle was lit, the casita was born, and so too was the magical powers intended for each of the Madrigal kids. We learned that the miracle protecting her family and giving life to their powers is fading. Luisa, for example, being one of the first family members to notice that her strength seems to be weakening. Mirabel goes on a mission to determine not only why the casita is falling apart, but why her family's powers are fading. On her journey, Mirabel realizes the miracle is weakening because of the actions of her own abuela, who has lost sight of what is important. Abuela for years has pressured the family into not being their true selves, but wearing these magical masks in front of the village. The family is to cater to the village and make sure everything runs smoothly. Abuela has made each of the Madrigals feel as though they can't speak their truth or reveal their struggles or anxiety, because if they do, then they would let down not only their family, but the whole entire town. So instead of talking about their problems, the Madrigals keep their mouths shut and let everything bubble and fester under the surface. Now, in a lot of ways, Alma might sound like a villain, but she really isn't. As we learn towards the end of the film, during a heart-to-heart conversation between Abuela and Mirabel, Abuela Alma reveals to her that she just wanted to protect the family and their miracle at all costs, because she had lost everything once before and she didn't want that to happen again. After this conversation, essentially the family gets their powers back and the villagers come to help the Madrigals build their casita once again. But what is to become of Mirabel after all of this? I mean, her family will continue to have powers and the casita will continue to be lively, but what about her fate? I'm not going to lie to you all, I really thought at the end Mirabel would get some sort of magical power. In all honesty, I thought she would potentially be the supreme Madrigal, who had a little bit of everyone's gift, but that's not what happened. So what does the ending mean for her? Of course, now she has a better relationship with her family members, and now she can truly be herself, but what else? I personally believe Mirabel deserved some sort of something, since she was the one who saved the family. Well, it's safe to say I have an answer for you. Well, I should say a theory for you. I think Mirabel will become the next head of the household and take the place of her abuela when the time is right. I think Mirabel's clothing with all the butterflies is very symbolic of her transformation and growth as a character. She went from the outcast family member to the hero and leader in a lot of ways. I think Mirabel is destined to be the new matriarch of the town and lead them in ways her abuela could not. Mirabel throughout the film shows many attributes that a strong leader should have, but what's arguably one of the most important attributes is her ability to speak the truth. And the truth is ultimately what brought the family back together and stronger than ever. As I pointed out earlier, Abuela Alma has no power and neither does Mirabel. I don't think that was a mere accident. I actually think this was an intentional link by the creators to show that they are more alike than what it may seem like on the surface. Their lack of magical power illustrates further that in order to be a leader, you don't need to have a magical power. Rather, the real power is simply just being yourself. I want to also add in one of the most symbolic examples of Mirabel becoming the head of the Madrigal family one day, which is her being given the main front door of the casita. As you may recall, the family gathers at the end to gift her a doorknob with her name on it that opens the front door to the magical casita. Her door being the front of the casita symbolizes her role. I mean, think about it. The front door is the main door and arguably the most important, the one that everyone sees first and looks to when approaching a house. This being just like Mirabel, for she is the one that everyone will look to and approach when times get rough. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we got some sort of sequel or a spin-off TV series where we see Abuela passing on her role to Mirabel in a grand ceremony. Well, that concludes this episode of Disney Daily. Let me know what you thought about my theory regarding Mirabel's fate and whether you agree or disagree. As always, thanks for being my guest here at Disney Daily. Until next time.